What's going on, gamblers, degens, and everybody else in between? This is the Gamblers Anonymous Podcast, GAP, GAP for short, because we're closing the gap between you and the bookies. What's going on, everyone? I'm back, your host, JG, episode 76. It's been a long time coming. I took a little hiatus again, but you know what? We're back. Here on out, we're back. We're going to make some noise. We got NHL. We got everything coming up this year. I'm about to be laid off. I ain't got nothing else to do but give y'all some free motherfucking locks. And we are back. And for NFL, we're going to change up. I ain't going to go through all 16 games this week, 15 games, whatever it may be, because I suck. I don't do any research in that sense. And it looks like a bad product for y'all, but never mind. It's about 12:54 here in Saturday in Winnipeg. A little chilly, 2 degrees outside, but don't worry about that. And from here on out, I'm gonna give y'all a player props lock, either point spread, money line, or over and under, just so everyone can have something to play. We got the degenerates with the player props. I'll hit them with one of those. We got the old school people who got to go pro line, got to go run it into the stores and play it like that. So we're just going to do that. 3 straight locks, and then the classic to the moon. We ain't doing to the end zone because I'm garbage at it. Maybe I'll throw one in if I like something this year, but till then, that's what we're going to do. So quick recap from episode 75. First lock I gave y'all, Terry McLaurin over 3.5 receptions, minus 160. The Giant Slayer, I told y'all, came in, locked it in. We started off 1 for 1. Next, we went to Kyler Murray over 32.5 passing attempts against the Rams for minus 115. And it was looking so good up until the second half. Guy had 18 pass attempts in the first half, and then you know what he did? He threw 5 more. It didn't get over 25. That's all I know. So that was an L. And then I had Baltimore Ravens over 147.5 total rushing yards, minus 115 for my third lock. And I believe they hit 130 around there. So that was another L. So we went 1 and 2. And then to the moon, oh man, I gave y'all Panthers to win plus 195. I believe that's the game Bryce Young got pulled, lost his job. Adios, amigo. The red rifle came in, and that's what it is. Daniel Jones, Vanilla Vic to record 50 or more rushing yards. Didn't happen. And then Joey Burr to record 25 or more rushing yards. I don't even think that happened either. I don't even know if any of those came in. But fuck that. We're not worried about that no more. We're on to episode 76. So lock number 1, I told y'all what I'm going to do. I'm going to give point spread, money line, over-unders, and 1 player prop lock from here on out. So let's start it off. Tennessee Titans versus Detroit Lions. And we are taking the Lions at 11.5 minus 110. Before I did any research on this game, I saw the line and thought to myself, this is a straight disrespect to the Lions. 11.5 points? Are we serious here? Are we serious? They just traded away DeAndre Hopkins, their best wide receiver, and he's washed. Some may say Calvin Ridley's their best receiver, but he's washed. They traded away Ernest Jones, their starting linebacker, to the Seahawks, and in return they got Jerome Baker to replace him. And let me take you back to a few weeks ago when they played the Lions. He got torched. Jerome Baker, man, he's a good player, but man, molasses might move faster than him on the field. And don't even get me started on the Titans QB situation. Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, put the red-nosed reindeer in it. It ain't going to make a difference, man. Titans are 1-5 this season against the spread. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10, and they're going up against the Lions, who are 5-1 against the spread this season and 8-2 in their last 10. And y'all know what they say. Good teams win. Great teams cover. Elite teams do both. And that's what we have here with the Lions. Detroit puts up on average 30 points, which is good for 3rd in the NFL this year, compared to Tennessee's 17 points, which is good for 26th. They're the 26 out of 32nd team for points scored this year. But it gets better. Because Detroit in their last 3 are averaging 40 points, while Tennessee in their last 3 is averaging just 19. And that is a point difference of 21 points. And even if you win off their averages for all year, that's still a 13-point difference. And the bookies are giving us to this at 11.5. They're playing in Detroit in a dome. And when it comes down to it, Detroit is almost better in every metric possible than Tennessee. Tennessee's defense, albeit, has been quite good this year. But if their offense can't stay on the field, they're going to get tired and they're going to get exposed. They're bottom 5 in third down conversion rate at 31%, while compared to Detroit, who's a top 5 team in third down conversion at 44%. And you know what else Detroit is the best at? The turnover margin per game. They average a +1 a game, while the Titans are a -1.5, second worst in the league. If you don't know what that means, let me just tell y'all. Detroit -11.5, -110. Lock it in. Now let's go lock number 2. Indianapolis Colts versus Houston Texans. I have the Colts covering the spread of +5 -110. We got the battle of the number 2 draft pick taken last year in CJ Stroud versus the number 4th overall pick in AR-15, Anthony Richardson, drafted last year as well. Now, these two QBs have only faced off against each other twice, but both times the Colts have covered the +5 and even winning one of those matchups last year with AR-15 before he got injured. Colts get their star running back. Oh, that was a tongue twister. They get their star running back, back in Jonathan Taylor this week, which is huge because he's a great motherfucking running back. Texans are without linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair and safety Jimmy Ward, who are important cogs in that Texans defense. Now, when we look at these two teams have done this year, they're pretty much yin and yang, parallels of one another. Colts score on average 22.1 points a game. Texans score 23.6 points a game. Colts allow teams to score on average 21.3 points a game, while Texans allow 22.7 points a game. And you might be thinking, well, those numbers are awfully similar. Why are the Colts given 5 points? And I'm not too sure. I think the books are overvaluing the Texans here, because when you take the medium of both the Colts offense versus Texans D and vice versa, Texans offense versus Colts D, the mathematical calculation comes to Colts scoring 22.4 points and Texans 22.4 points, which Eureka is the fucking same number. And even when you look at the past results between these two teams, Colts have covered the +5 in their last 19 of 20 games against the Texans. That's good for 95% of the time. 95% of the time. You might hear that and be like, oh man, that's a misleading stat. They could have lost 3 games ago. Well, it ain't, baby. You have to go all the way back to 2015, 19 games ago, when the Colts didn't cover the +5 points. But because you know how much they lost by? They lost by 6 instead. So you want to be safe, buy a point, change it to +6, and then you have the Colts covering that spread 100% of the time in their last 20 against the Texans. All I got to say is Colts +5, -10. Lock it in. Lock number 3. Here we go. Player prop lock time, baby. Falcons versus Bucks. We got Kyle Pitts over 42.5 receiving yards, -110. Now, if you're a fantasy owner of Kyle Pitts, the past few years you're thinking this lock ain't happening. Well, I hate to break it to you, baby. It's a certified lock. Pitts, when playing against the Bucs, has hit this total in 5 straight games against them, going for 73, 48, 47, 57, and 88 yards in those games. That's good for an average of 62.6 yards. And against them, he averages 4.4 catches over those games. And remember that number for later. Not to mention his last 5 games, he's hit this total in 4 of those 5 games, while the Bucs have given up in their last 4 games against tight ends 92 yards, 88, 102, and 72 yards to tight ends. And on average this season, they give up 11.83 yards per reception to tight ends. And if you remember what I said earlier, Kyle Pitts averages 4.4 catches a game against them. So quick math. Kyle Pitts projected to average 52 yards against the Bucs this game. And let's not forget the most important detail. It's Kirktober. And we all know what Kirk does in October. Over his career, he averages 267 passing yards a game. And over his last 4 games in October, he's put up over 300 in all 4 of them. So let me just tell y'all, Kyle Pitts over 42.5 receiving yards, minus 110. Lock it in. Now, let's go to the moon, baby. First lock I got for y'all, this is going to be a 3 o'clock miracle parlay. We got the Saints money line plus 270. Saints money line. What? Saints money? Yes, they're going to play the Chargers. In their last 4 games against the Chargers, they're 4-0 against them. You got to go back, what is that, 4, 6, 8, 16 years they haven't lost to the fucking Chargers. And they're about to make it 20 years. That magical number, 20 years. They're getting Taysom Hill back, Chris Olave back, Pete Werner back. Oh my God. I think they're even getting not Taysom Hill. Derek Carr might be playing again. And if it's it, it's over. Like, Chargers ain't going to be able to keep up with them. Are you kidding me? They're one of the worst scoring offenses in the league. So I like the Saints here at plus 270. Next, we got the Seahawks on the money line. They're at home against the Bills. And I didn't hear no one mention this. It's going to be a rainy fucking game in Seattle. I've been to Seattle to watch a game before. And it rains, it pours, it does all that shit. And you know how the Bills play in those temperatures. They don't play good. So this has all the recipes. Home team dog, give me that. Plus 135, throw it on that parlay. And lastly, but not least, we got the Commanders at plus 125. Bears are coming into town. I don't care what y'all say. Shane Waldron, that OC of the Bears, is a bum. Even if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, Marcus Mariota looked like a fucking dog. Like he's back. Like he's that Oregon Duck we knew from all those years ago. He looked good, like the second overall pick. We got exactly what we want. So Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota, I don't really care. Plus 125, we've seen what the Commanders been doing. Dan Quinn, former Seahawk, DC. You know what? I like this. They got Bobby Wagner too. He's gonna tell them exactly how to shut down the Bears because he knows Shane Waldron's offense. Bobby, he went up against it in practice for how many years now? 3 years he did. Man, he's gonna shut them down. Waldron, I'm sorry, you're a bum. Caleb Williams, you should have got a better OC. So we're going to take Commanders on the money line as well, plus 125. When you throw that all together, that comes to plus 1,856. Throw 25 on it, that comes to $512.29. Now for all y'all listening on YouTube, I'm just going to put up our picture because I'm having difficulties with my editing software. So I ain't going to put a video up of me this week, but we'll get that solved for next week, maybe the week after. All y'all need to know is have a good weekend. May the locks be with you, and peace.